Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. One sober to another. I'm Wayne, and I'm an alcoholic. Today's daily reflection for December 2020. Into action. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm coming off a workout, and I'm still bringing you the daily reflections. Here we go. AA is more than a set of principles. It is a society of alcoholics in action. We must carry the message, else we ourselves can wither, and those who haven't been given the truth may die. As Bill sees it, page 13. I desperately wanted to live, but if I was to succeed, I had to become active in our God-given program. I joined what became my group, where I opened the hall, made coffee, and cleaned up. I had been sober about 3 months when an old-timer told me I was doing 12th step work. What a satisfying realization that was. I felt I was really accomplishing something. God had given me a second chance. Alcoholics Anonymous had shown me the way, and these gifts were not only free, they were also priceless. Now the joy of seeing newcomers grow reminds me of where I have come from, where I am now, and the limitless possibilities that lie ahead. I need to attend meetings because they recharge my batteries so that I have light when it's needed. I'm still a beginner in service work, but already I am receiving more than I am giving. I can't keep it unless I give it away. I am responsible for another when another reaches out for help. I want to be there, sober. I am responsible when another reaches out for help, and I want to be there, sober. A lot to think about on this one, folks, and into action is something that is definitely necessary and definitely reaches a nerve and definitely strikes home again. I desperately wanted to live, but if I was to succeed, I had to become active in our God-given program. You may not believe in God, and we go through this all the time, people. Whatever is giving you strength beyond what you would normally have, okay, no stimulants required, is your higher power. And to be active in something other than your own self-desire and your own self-will is invaluable. So if you don't go to AA and you've never been to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, that doesn't mean that this cannot help you. For me, it was, I actually did open up the room, and I actually did make the coffee, and I set out all the books, the Living Sober, 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous for folks who would come to the meeting who didn't have one. I would make sure that there was one available for them. And for me, I was doing that from pretty much, I would say, maybe the second month, because before that I just sat and listened to everybody's stories, because for me, I was locked inside myself still, and there was no way out of it unless I listened to other people, because if I just listened to the voices that were still rambling around in my head, God knows where I would be right now. I really need a new camera, folks, because this getting up and getting down to make sure it's still on just ain't working. All right, so I just want to read a little more from this, only because it is so applicable to every part of recovery. What a satisfying realization that I felt. I was really accomplishing something. God had given me a second chance. You know, when I became part of a group, and for me it was the fellowship, when I became part of that, I really felt like I was doing something that mattered as far as providing things for the people that were coming to the meeting. before that, I had only done things to meet my own needs and my own end, and it really wasn't leading me anywhere. And sure, it was satisfying for the first 12 seconds of getting drunk, but from the blackout thereof, nothing was worth the drunk that I was going through, and especially the dead ends that I left behind. If I had never been given the opportunity to get sober and to see the way that was different than how I was living, I definitely would be a train wreck right now. And chances are, and it sounds dramatic, but I'd probably be dead, because what I was doing to myself day in, day out, and I'm telling you, it truly became self-abusive to where I really don't want to admit this on camera, but I'm going to, because some people need to hear it. I literally started slashing myself up, and I would be bloody and just laying in my living room fucking naked and just spinning in my head with all these voices and all this chaos inside. And I had no way to express how much I hated myself at the time otherwise than to throw myself down steps and everything else. And it somehow became normal, and I somehow looked forward to it. And that was not a way for me to live, and it certainly wouldn't have been much longer if I kept going that way. So to be given a second chance to not only live and get sober, but to be able to thrive in my sobriety and see that for me, alcohol is not the solution to my problems, and what's at the bottom of that bottle is not going to help me anymore. That's what I figured out. Now, I had to do certain things in order to get there, and that's where the into action comes into play. For me, and I always say for me because I can't speak for you folks, only if you comment, can we see what you're truly thinking. You could be thinking, screw this, I don't need any part of this, and that's okay. I'm still a beginner in service work, but already I am receiving more than I am giving. That is a true statement for me as well. And if I'm rambling on, well, that's what I'm doing. And all right, so if I'm able to sit there and I'm able to take the knowledge from all these old timers, and old timers are people who have been sober a hot minute, I am so fortunate to be able to see a different way of living and to see a different way of thriving in my sobriety. Now, you don't have to be an AA for this to apply in your life, but if you take the time to work the steps, now it doesn't have to be steps in the traditional way of Alcoholics Anonymous. It would be cool if it was, but it doesn't have to be. So long as you utilize a progressive manner, which ultimately leads you to a spiritual awakening, and you have the ability to carry that message to the alcoholic who still suffers, then you have the same ability that I have in order to remain sober. And that is the ultimate goal, right? To help other folks, other alcoholics and addicts who still suffer. And in return, by giving that away, you can stay sober another day. I can stay sober another day. On my card here, right there, it says, hold your mobile. God, I'm an idiot. On the front side, folks, on the front side, it says, helping you get sober keeps me sober. If you see these around somewhere, don't throw them in the trash. Hand them to somebody who can use them. Because I already spread out 200 of them, and a lot of folks have, probably threw them away. I don't know, whatever. For me to have this fascinating way of life and this newborn sobriety and recovery and not needing to rely on alcohol or be obsessed over alcohol in order to get through my day or my problems is freaking amazing. And the action that I had to take in order to get there, you know, just like these videos, it's not a burden. It is a privilege. And I say that because every single day, almost every single day, I religiously work out, and it's second nature. I second nature read the daily reflections. I look through the big book. I go through 12 and 12, you know, 12 steps and 12 traditions. And sometimes if I'm able to get to it, I go through living sober, and I pull out a part of it that really speaks to me that day. And I try to bring it in these videos. And if you like, drop a comment below, and I will start bringing that to light in these videos as well. Because so much of it can be a big part of our lives and play a positive role. And it doesn't mean you have to, you know, do what I do, but something can help you along the way. I'm certain of it, because it helps me. And if you're an alcoholic like me, then, you know, maybe some of the tools that I've received can help you as well. That's enough rambling for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed today's installment of the Daily Reflections. And remember, if you want to get a hold of the face mask that I talked about a couple videos ago, if you are willing to do an interview or record a story and shoot it to me and allow me to put it in a video, because fresh faces are better than my face every day, I guarantee it, folks. And someone else's perspective on alcoholism, addiction, child abuse, taking care of an alcoholic, the wife of an alcoholic, whatever your situation is, I'm sure someone can benefit from it. So if you want to be a part of this channel and you're willing to do that, shoot me a DM, and you'll receive a free mask, a free One Sober to Another face mask that is COVID-19 approved. And you will also get this giant sticker here that I'm sure nobody really wants, but why not? It's cool. Everything that I get and that I have made, it's absolutely free. And there's not much that has to be done in order to get one and show people what you're representing and what you're all about. One Sober to Another. Guess what, folks? That's something to chew on. Life's a garden, dig it. I'm going to see you in the next one.